This is the Unspoken Podcast on the Undetermined Podcast Network.
You're listening to the Unspoken Podcast, Cheap Seat Sports Production part of the Undetermined Podcast Network. It's episode 45. We're 5 episodes away from the big magical episode 50, and yet part of me wants a meteor to come down and just end us all.
Aren't we all feeling like that?
Damn, wow, that was really specific.
We've got apocalyptic scenarios for pretty much every day of the week. Wait till you see the one that involves the combine and the pack of wolves.
Oh boy!
I'm Talavano along with Nick Federa and Nick Morgeson. First of all, since this is going to be the last time we're going to be on before Thanksgiving, an early happy Thanksgiving to everybody. We got a celebration of Thanksgiving later in the broadcast. You'll see, it's special.
We got some turkeys for you. Don't worry.
Yeah.
We got some big turkeys for you. But yes, indeed. A very happy Thanksgiving to our viewers. We love you, and we're here to talk about sports. We're here to talk about the things that we love, and you love to hear us yak about.
Although I don't know if this is everything that we love, considering that there's some stuff in there that we also pretty freaking hate. So we have a lot to talk about, so let's just get right into it. So we have the MLB awards that were just recently announced. Rookie of the Year, Manager of the Year, Cy Young, MVP, all of it was just announced. And what do you guys think?
You know what? I have a major problem right off the bat, and I know that's a little soon to have a major problem right off the bat, but I feel like the MVP in the American League, everyone's like, oh, well, we all knew it's unanimous. It's going to be Jose Altuve because he's the amazing story. He's, according to an interesting stat I heard this morning, Jose Altuve is one of the shortest guys to win the MVP award this year.
I believe it.
And
he is tiny.
He's tiny. I think he's smaller than I am, believe it or not. I think he's 5'6", and I'm like 5'8.5", 5'9".
Yeah, he's smaller than me.
So I'm looking at...
We're talking Italian grandmother size here.
Yeah. So I'm looking at the statistics between Altuve and Judge. And believe it or not, Aaron Judge led in 9 categories over Jose Altuve. So let's run down a few stats, and you tell me what you think, okay? So Aaron Judge had 52 home runs. Altuve had 24. No disagreement there.
Right.
Aaron Judge had more extra base hits, 79 to 67. Altuve edged him in hits. All right, that's one category. Aaron Judge scored more runs, 128 to 112. Aaron Judge RBIs, 114 to 81. 127 walks to 58 walks, Aaron Judge. 149 runs created over 133 runs created, Judge. So, do I really need to say much more that they screwed this up?
I don't think they screwed it up at all. In the sense that exactly what I told you on the show last week, Tom, is actually what happened. Where they went for Altuve because they wanted consistency. Consistency was the name of the game, and that couple of months slump right before and after the All-Star game really, I think, cost Judge that MVP.
But wait a second. Isn't the MVP supposed to be the whole year, not based on a 2-month slump?
I guess that, but I'm just telling you that's probably what
the baseball writers go for, basically.
Yeah, well, you know what? I have a hot take on baseball writers because they screwed this up a couple years ago with the Hall of Fame voting where Dan Le Batard decided to sell his vote to fucking people to vote on it. Now we're seeing people vote based on a 2-month period where Aaron Judge didn't hit. Well, you got to look at the full year, okay? Did A-Rod win the MVP in Texas on the full year or on a 2 or 3 month period?
God, I don't remember.
He won it on a full year.
Oh, yeah. I thought that was a rhetorical question.
Yes. So my point is, looking at the statistics, looking at everything, his OBP was higher than Altuve. His slugging percentage was higher than Altuve. Everything was higher.
I think also they're going on situational hitting because with runners in scoring position, I think Altuve hit close to or over 330, if I'm not mistaken.
He hit like 340 for the year. But at the same time, now people are using the stupid excuse that Aaron Judge struck out 208 times, but he's a power hitter. We get this. The way the game is going is that either you're going to homer or you're going to strike out. Okay? So, to be honest, I think that's a bullshit excuse, and people should leave that out because he hit 52 home runs and drove in 114 RBI, so the strikeouts don't matter.
To the baseball writers, I mean, they do. And that's exactly what I knew they would do. I mean, not to say that I told you so, but that's their writing. That's their thinking process. It always has been, and it always will be.
Yeah, but I don't understand. How did Aaron Judge end up with only 2 first-place votes?
That I couldn't. Maybe they were just so enamored with Altuve and what he did in the World Series, even though you're not really supposed to count the postseason.
Well, the way the rules,
the votes have to be in before October 1st, I think.
Right. So there's no such thing as taking the playoffs, or else you would have a favoritism all the way. But at the same time, I just read the stats to you. There's no competition here. The only thing that Altuve really led him was average, which I guess people look at for the bat, but that's why there's a batting title, and 204 hits to 154. But every other statistical category, basically, Aaron Judge was leading.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't think it's necessarily the biggest deal because it's not like Judge didn't win any awards. He still is the Rookie of the Year, unanimous.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. He is the Rookie of the Year, and he has hit more home runs than any rookie, I think, ever.
Yeah, but that
is quite a feat. That's nothing to shake your head at, Nick.
No, I understand, but my question is this like a New York bias thing where someone didn't want him to be the MVP award?
I don't know about that. I like Nick said, basically, I think it's just the state of mind of baseball writers, and that, they saw the slump, and I think if he didn't have that slump, he would be the MVP. But they look at consistency, and they look at technically the whole year of consistency. So
they don't love gaudy numbers as much as they love consistency.
But you know what people don't realize is 5 to 10 years ago, 52 home runs, 114 RBIs, that would have been a unanimous MVP award, right?
Yeah, but let's if you'll humor me for a second. So Giancarlo Stanton won the NL MVP by I think was it that
2 votes.
Was it that much of a landslide by 2 votes?
2 votes. It was the 4th closest race in history.
Third closest. I have right here. Third closest NL MVP race in history. Giancarlo Stanton edged. I can't believe that. I can't believe this. He edged Joey Votto. Because remember last week we were talking about the statistics. We had Stanton, we had Votto, and we had who was the other guy?
Was it Blackman?
No.
I thought it was
Cody Bellinger.
Or Nolan Arenado, I heard also.
No, Goldschmidt. That was the other one.
Paulie Goldschmidt.
Those were the big 3 we were talking about. I would have thought in this kind of scenario he would have edged Goldschmidt. I think Goldschmidt, I don't know, man, because it's like Goldschmidt, he wasn't as big as he was like last year in terms of production. But Votto, I mean, at the same time, Goldschmidt is playing on, let's face it, a better team. Votto, I feel like it's one of the most wasted careers in MLB history because he's been playing on a shitty Reds team for a while now.
Well,
right.
That's parity for you. It means the Reds got a chance the Reds had the money to sign him long term rather than him entering the open market. But free agency, that is. But let's take a look at Giancarlo Stanton's numbers. just so we can compare it to Paul Goldschmidt and the guys he was up against in the National League. Well,
I mean, the guy had 59 home runs. The guy
59 home runs, far and away, the most in the majors. 132 RBIs. He had a 281 batting average, and the guys he was up against. Let's see.
Right. I mean, the way the numbers were, it was interesting. You knew he was going to be the MVP. I mean, that was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, it was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be, too. I thought it was going to be more of a unanimous vote for Stanton.
Because he was far and away better than pretty much anybody else in the National League, and that's considering who you have in the National League. You got some talent.
Mm-hmm.
But looking at the Votto stats, 36 home runs, 100 RBIs, struck out under 100 times, which is impressive for him as a power hitter, because he's struck out close to 150 times over the past couple seasons. Yep. So
that's had the most home runs in a major league season since 2001 when Barry Bonds hit the big 73.
Yeah.
You're talking about Stanton. But I don't know. I felt like Stanton should have been not a unanimous MVP, but it should have been a little more distant considering what Stanton's stats were.
Yeah, and these baseball writer these ballots are a crapshoot anyway because they're based on opinions and opinions change on a whim. It's not necessarily about who deserves it all the time. It's about who's due.
So here's a stupid question. Here's a stupid question based on that stuff and based on you brought up the Dan Le Batard Hall of Fame situation, Nick. Do you think fans should have some say in these kinds of awards?
Hell no, absolutely not. Because I don't think that what I like to call homers should be allowed to vote in the race if their guy is in the top three. They should remove the Cincinnati person, the Miami person, and whoever else was in the top three, and let everybody else vote.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Stuff in the ballot box, basically.
Right, because that's what I'm sure Le Batard did.
I could see something like that where the fans, all the New York fans vote for the Yankee, and all the Houston fans vote for the Astro, and all the Cincinnati people vote for the red guy, and all the, the Marlins fans in Florida, they vote for Stanton. Basically, the hometown edge, and it's like you only vote for them because they're a part of your team, not because of their true numbers or stuff like that.
But just taking a look at the Stanton stats, 59 home runs, 132 RBIs, the 163 strikeouts is a little high, but that's what you get typically as a power hitter. So I think all around he had an amazing season, went to the Derby and played well. That was probably one of the most historical displays of the home run derby between Judge and Stanton we ever saw.
Well, Sanchez. Yeah. Didn't Sanchez upset Stanton in the first round?
Yes, he did.
Yes, but I'm just saying in general, just like having.
Just in terms of the bombs that they hit.
Yeah, the 2017 home run derby was honestly one of the best. I think ever since they've introduced this new format, it's rebirthed the home run derby.
Well, yeah, because you're no longer standing there taking 100 pitches.
We said that on the show during the summer when the home run derby was over. But let's look at some of the other awards that were given out.
Yeah, let's briefly go through the other awards. Cy Young awards: Corey Kluber in the AL and Max Scherzer in the NL.
Historical, right there, actually, was Scherzer because that's his third Cy Young award.
Is that the most ever?
I think it is. Ooh. I'd have to look, but I think it was just history in general because
second consecutive Cy Young. And one of 10 pitchers to win 3 Cy Youngs.
And also, another historical thing, he's won a Cy Young in both leagues.
Oh, my God, that's true. I just think that just goes to show, how much of a hell of a pitcher that Max Scherzer is.
Well, he definitely, don't get me wrong, he's definitely an ace. He's a Cy Young.
But do you think that Kershaw should have won it?
No. That's not where I was going.
I think Nick and I agreed on this last week that Kershaw struggles at the beginning of the year.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the run support, like his team didn't support him, that cost him the Cy Young.
Oh, no, but that's not where I was going. Where I was going was that he's a great pitcher. He is going to be in the Cy Young top 5 every year he pitches. He's a little injury prone because we saw the neck issues kind of rear its ugly head. And he's got a little bit of an ego attitude problem. But otherwise, if he stays healthy, he can probably win another 1 or 2 Cy Young awards if he stays healthy.
Yeah. Yeah. That I have no doubt. Yeah.
Corey Kluber, I think we got that right again, Nick.
We did. Yeah, we did.
No, that one's definitely right. And that's his second, right?
Yes, it is.
I want to say yes. He is the first 2-time Indian Cy Young Award winner.
Which is crazy because we've seen a lot of great pitchers go through Cleveland. But at the same time, in a hitter's ballpark over the years, between all these great hitters that we've seen go to Cleveland, because they want to hit there. They don't want to pitch there. Pitchers are afraid to pitch there. And I don't know. The guy is just amazing. And believe it or not, I think his reputation was kind of hurt when he pitched crappy against the Yankees. Not that mattered in the race, but his reputation got hit.
Well, yeah, I kind of did get hit. But like we said, isn't this based on the regular season?
Oh, no. I was just making a point that he won the Cy Young fair and square.
Right.
I'm just saying his reputation kind of got hit because he pitched poorly against the Yankee team they should have beat.
Right.
Yeah, I could say that. But who was it that got manager of the year in both leagues? I missed that.
Before we get to that, rookie of the year, we have some history here. I mean, it was unanimous. But I think we predicted it right again, Nick. Judge and Bell.
We knew that was going to happen.
Isn't this? I've heard that this is the first time in a long time that both leagues' rookie of the years have been unanimous votes. I think this is like the first time in like 20 years, 15, 20 years or something like that.
Yeah, it was. It was the first time in about 20, 25 years we've had unanimous MVPs between Bellinger and Judge. And I think both well-deserved. These guys came out of nowhere, powering off against every pitcher they've gone up against. It's just the two of them got to work on not swinging at bad pitches out of the strike zone and striking out close to 200 times a year, because that's going to be their struggle. If they
that's exactly the thing.
Part of the reason that Judge was cost the MVP, basically.
Yeah, and I think that's definitely something that's mechanical and fixable. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily that pitchers can figure him out, because he had his best month of the season in September.
Well, also they're rookies. I've had friends who have covered the Trenton Thunder when Aaron Judge was playing on the Thunder. This has just been something that has been plaguing Judge for a long time. It was the same story with when he was in the minors, that, the guy, when he hit, could, unleash this massive amount of power to the point where, the amount of home runs and big hits he had this year. No, nobody expected that, but they knew, he had talent. The only problem was he swung at bad pitches, didn't have control, and struck out a lot. But like Nick just said, that's fixable. That's fixable. Working with a hitting coach,
with a good hitting
a lot
coach.
of time in the cage.
Whoever they get to be hitting coach, indeed, whoever they get to be manager at this point, whoever the hell it is, because I can't believe we're this far into the offseason and they still don't have a manager, but that's a story for another episode. Their entire purpose is going to be work with Judge, work with Sanchez, work with Bird.
I think we're overseeing one issue, though, which is that the league has become a homer or bust type of league. There's no longer, let's hit a single, let's steal second base, and let's drive the guy in. We've now become a home run or strikeout league. Would you agree?
Well, the baseball writers, I think, would agree with you, the guys that voted, because Altuve is that kind of old school, let's drive him in kind of hitter. He's not home run or bust. And I think, honestly, this was not necessarily a calculated decision to give Altuve the MVP because he is that kind of hitter, or like a reaction against what the league has become? Because, let's be honest with ourselves here, Altuve deserved to win, but I think that's definitely part of their thinking that, hey, here's a guy who does it old school.
Well, historically, the AL and NL were two different worlds. And, Nick, the thing that you said about homer or bust, that was the American League. The National League for a while has been the old, as Nick mentioned, the old school. The single, let's drive in the RBI and stuff. Maybe part of that has to deal with that. The AL has the designated hitter. The NL doesn't have the designated hitter, so they're more calculated with their, lineups and calculated with their signs and the basic.
Well, they have to be. They have to be because they're playing National League style baseball with the pitcher in the lineup, so they have to be more calculated. But I was going to ask something, and I don't know if this – you guys tell me if this is contradictory or not.
Okay.
So I think that Aaron Judge should have been the MVP, but at the same time, I think Jose Altuve is the best overall hitter in the league.
That is kind of contradictory.
It is, yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
Because I'm just looking at pure stats.
But by that sentence, you would be implying that sometimes guys who win the MVP are not the overall best hitters in the league. Would I be correct in assuming that?
Yeah,
I think there could be a point there.
That's kind of what I'm saying, yeah.
I think basically Major League Baseball needs to take a look at itself and say, okay, what the hell is more important? Is it the mechanics, the fundamentals, or is it the home run or bust? I think that's basically we need to have an inner look at ourselves and ask us that question.
You know what the problem is?
Yeah, and knowing introspection in North American sports, I can expect that to happen within the next 200 to 250 years.
In looking back in history, we used to see teams like the Rangers and Seattle, and like when they were way out of it, you would see people like Alex Rodriguez win the MVP award for a team that basically finished in last place. From this point on, you're no longer going to see a last place team with a guy who hits 40-something home runs be the MVP. It's just not going to happen anymore.
Now, going back to managers, I have to think that this was the biggest shock of them all, the Manager of the Year awards. Nick, I think we got these two incorrect.
I cannot remember what we picked, and I do not know who won.
Roberts of the Dodgers was going to win the National League. I think we said Hinch of the Astros was going to win the American League. But it turns out that's not the case. Paul Molitor instead gets the American League, and Torey Lovullo of Arizona gets the National League.
Oh, my.
I think I got this wrong.
Paul Molitor, I can see that because the turnaround he put the Twins on is, well, it's a whirlwind. It's enough to give you whiplash how bad that team was and how good they were this year.
Well, actually, there's a historic stat there, which a lot of people don't know. I think they were the first team to go from a 100-loss season to almost making, or did they make the playoffs? Yeah, they made the wild card.
Them in the wild card.
So they were
they lost in a wild card game to the Yankees.
Yeah, they were the first team to go from 100 losses to the playoffs.
Oh, well, there's that. Suddenly some credibility has come into that. So I guess I could see the American League, but the National League one, I'm sorry, I think they got wrong. I don't think Lovullo should.
Why do you think they gave it?
I have no idea.
I can't explain this one, to be honest with you. I mean,
because of a similar reason, a 24-game turnaround leading the D-backs to 93 wins in their first postseason appearance since 2011.
All right.
I don't know.
Wait a minute. But at the same time, looking at this Manager of the Year race, could you give it to Dave Roberts? You probably could. But I don't know if you have because they ran away with the whole, not just the National League, but all of Major League Baseball they ran away with. But
plus they almost lost it, with that losing streak.
Right. They almost did lose it with that losing streak. But
yeah, but in July and August we were thinking that the wheels were gonna fall off of that train any minute, but they didn't. So I
don't know. But the managerial race, I think it's kind of up in the air. You kind of just reach out in thin air and grab a name and say that's manager of the year. So I don't put a lot of stock into the manager of the year, but at the same time, I can understand Molitor, like you said. But Lavello, I can't explain that one.
Lavello actually got 18 first-place votes for a total of 111 points. And that was about, let's see, doing my math, 111 minus 55. That would be about 56. So 56 more. He got basically twice as many points as Dave Roberts did. And Dave Roberts was the runner-up.
Maybe it's like a college football reasoning where you won, but the teams you beat, you won so handily. We don't think you were challenged enough.
You know what it is? I think with the Diamondbacks, like they came out of left field, like the Twins came out of left field. Everyone expected them to fall back down again, but they actually played a lot better than we all expected.
I guess that's the thing about the manager of the year. I guess, you know how we were just talking about what, baseball writers favor for stuff like the MVP. I guess for manager of the year, they favor stuff like the turnarounds.
They do. In this case, they favor consistency, but if you can take the team from shit to Sterling in his
little of time as possible.
In short a time period as possible, they love that. They eat it. They eat it up.
And just remember, the manager of the year sometimes doesn't need shit. Joe Girardi won a manager of the year, and that same season he was fired by the Marlins.
Well, there's a lot of things to say about Girardi, but we don't have enough time to do that now.
Yeah,
but
speaking of the Marlins, it goes from shit to Sterling to back to shit again. It's a complete 360-degree circle of shit.
And speaking of the Marlins, speaking of Stanton, and speaking of the term manager, you know what? Let's go to Miami right now. Let's briefly talk about the Giancarlo Stanton sweepstakes.
Yes.
I have a lot of problems with this because now he just won the MVP award. He's in high spirits. He's positive. It's all the way up here. And now we got to drag the shit all the way back down to the floor. And now we're talking about CEO of the Marlins, Mr. Yankee Derek Jeter.
Yes. Context is necessary.
Fielding offers for this guy.
We believe the prevailing thought behind the league, behind what most execs and media people think is going to happen is that Jeter has already stated his intentions as president of the Marlins to slash payroll. We're talking fucking dramatically, which is something like $80 million. I think
Let's put it this way.
Was his stated goal.
Let's put it this way. They're trying to go back to 2003 all over again.
Yeah, and they are. And I kept asking, Tom on the show. It's like, what do you think Jeter will do now that he has the job? What do you think he's going to do? What do you think he's going to do? And they think he's going to trade Stanton, and the scuttlebutt is that he's not actually spoken to Stanton yet. That he's pretty much doing everything he can to alienate Stanton before he even sits down to have a fucking meeting with him. And the prevailing thought is that he's not going to stay in Miami, even though Stanton's gone on record as saying he wants to stay in Marlin.
Well, you have an issue. You have a major issue in the stance of that he's got a full blanket no trade clause. So he controls where he wants to go. And there's already been rumors throughout the past couple of days that I've put up on our accounts that they were talking to Boston. He doesn't want to go to Boston. They talked to San Francisco. He really doesn't want to go to San Francisco. They talked to L.A. He's from California. And a video surfaced on TMZ that supposedly was his girlfriend saying that he would want to go to L.A., but it hasn't been confirmed. So there's a lot of moving pieces. There's $295+ million that has to be moved. So you have a lot of issues in hand.
That's a lot of moolah.
Thank you, Mr. Register. It is a metric butt ton of money. It is. That's actually what they put on the bag when you put that much money in a bag in the bank. It's actually 1 metric butt ton. They have a little stamp that says that.
I don't know, but in the long run with this...
Supposedly this is why they want to give it a stamp, so they can free up all this money.
Look, the problem is the Marlins and... Wait a minute. This is why they're alienating their fucking fan base when they only have 18,000 to 19,000 people a game, is because they're not keeping anybody to build a team. All they want to do is first of all, if you remember that one off season where they signed Jose Reyes, they signed Mark Burley, they tried to go after Albert Pujols.
Oh, when they were first the Miami Marlins.
When they were first the Miami Marlins.
Yes, and they made a big splash getting Ozzie Guillen as their manager, and they went fuck nowhere.
Right, so here's the trend. Basically, they try to go out and spend, it backfires, then they got to beat up all this salary, and then they go after young guys, and then once those young guys get experience enough and they want money, then they get sold off.
Or basically, similarly, you mentioned 2003, something like 97 or 2003, where they take all these young guys, these rising stars, they win the World Series, and then the next year everybody gets sold.
They do. It's a fire sale. It's like a predated garage sale. All right, well...
No, it is a dumpster fire is what it is.
Well, no, but basically what I'm saying is, all right...
I wouldn't even put it that way. I mean, if Stanton gets put on the trading block for realsies this time, the frenzy to get him, I think it will be as frantic as locking... It's like being in a locked room full of masturbating orangutans. It's going to be. You don't know what's going to be going on, but it's going to be chaos from top to bottom. There's going to be stuff flying everywhere. It's just panic, sheer unadulterated panic. Why? Because of the masturbating orangutans.
I'm done.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
I'm out of here. Goodbye, everybody.
Wait a minute. Oh, my God. I can't believe that was just said. Oh, oh, wow. All right. Well, I'll try to pick that point up. But basically, Nick Federa, everybody.
Thank you. I'll be here all week.
But long story short, with the Giancarlo Stanton saga, it's going to be tough to trade him because... Again, the $295 million left on the contract that he just signed, because we all know Jeffrey Loria is the most genius owner in all of sports. Not.
You can't even say
no. That's genius. That's genius.
Oh, yeah. But can I quell one rumor, though, that I'm hearing about Giancarlo Stanton, which is that he's not going to the fucking Yankees, so Yankee fans, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I don't want him going to the Yankees.
Now,
First of all, they got a right fielder. Second of all, the prospect price for him will be astro-fucking-nomical. And who wants to pay that when we actually have some good fucking prospects?
And by the way...
Well, can I get my point in?
Go ahead.
Don't get me wrong. It would be, if we didn't have to worry about money, it is a wet dream to have somebody like Stanton and Judge together in the outfield. But I'm going to quote one of my friends on this. You're nuts if you think Stanton and the Yankees are a good idea. From a marketing standpoint, maybe it's amazing. But I don't think the Yankees are going to try to pay Stan $30 million until he's 38.
Well, here's the problem, all right? So, first of all, like Nick said, they're not going to be able to make the trade because they're going to have to trade prospects. Now, all these stupid baseball fans, including Yankee fans, are saying, well, you can give up Jacoby Ellsbury.
No one is going to take his contract.
And I'm like, hello? And I said, you're fired. You're not allowed to be a baseball fan ever again. Because
Derek Jeter is many things. An idiot is not one of them. He knows
I'm aware. Now, here's the problem. Jacoby Ellsbury is going to make $25 million a year the next 3 years, and he's got a blanket no trade clause.
We overpaid for Ellsbury. We gave him the New York style contract.
And you realize that he didn't get an at bat. What was it, in the ALCS?
But he was a bench player this year. He was a fucking bench player.
For $25 million a year.
And they still have to finagle a way to get rid of him because they want to see if they can get Clint Frazier into the outfield.
Well, he got hurt. That's why he didn't play.
Right.
But
still, look, let's just get all of that Stanton to the Yankees talk out of our minds.
Yeah, I know. We're all Yankees fans and we don't want him there.
Yeah, not that we don't want him there. It's not going to happen. It's not affordable.
It's just not going to happen. Like I keep bringing up the solid gold toilet thing. I want a solid gold toilet, but it's not feasible that I will have one. It's one of those few things that I've actually wanted to do before I die, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah, well, wait a minute. It can either be the solid gold toilet, or actually, I saw something interesting the other day, the Louis Vuitton toilet made out of handbags. But that's a whole different issue for another day. But
it's like shitting into a pocket. Why would you do that?
All right, well, slow down. We're getting off the rails here. But basically, with the Stanton thing to the Yankees, it's not going to happen unless they can figure out how to get rid of Ellsbury, which is never going to happen. So that's it. It's over.
Basically, yeah, it's done. It's not going to happen. And, yeah, I mean, it seems like at this point, honestly, we all just want solid gold toilets.
We want, but we shall not get.
But here's like one last point, very quick. Try to name something off the top of your head. What team do you think would take Stanton? Realistic.
Who would take Stanton? Anyone would take Stanton.
Well, not Stanton, but with the money and the trade and everything, who is most likely?
The Cardinals or the Giants?
I would say the Giants, but I mean, I don't know about the Giants. I mean, they do need a player to build their, rebuilding team around other than Madison Bumgarner. But like we were saying, the contract, I don't know. I might have to. What, Nick? It seems like you want to say something.
Well,
no, San Francisco seems like a big market, but they couldn't afford him.
I'm gonna give you two teams. Okay. One that I think is realistic, and one that I think is fictitious because everyone is saying he should go there.
Okay.
So, the one that I think is realistic is the Dodgers, because first of all, they have the money to afford it.
Yep, they do.
Two, they would trade Puig away for Stanton in an instant.
I agree.
And three, the pitching is not their issue. They need the. Can you imagine how much of a threat they would be on offense between Stanton and Bellinger and all those guys? That would be amazing.
Steal my pants and call me drafty. That would be dangerous.
You know what? I might actually have to be in agreement with Nick Morganson. I think the Dodgers. I would, as I was going to say, I would say the Giants, like Nick Federa said. But the no trade clause situation where he's basically said he doesn't want to go to San Francisco, I think that blocks it.
Well, the fictitious team that I was going to give is Boston because, and I heard he doesn't want to go to Boston, but last year Boston was last in all of Major League Baseball in power. Shockingly, they were last in home runs, which is, for all these years, they were known for the home run with Manny Ramirez, David Ortiz, all these guys, they were known for power.
Yeah.
And that's a hitter's ballpark. Can you imagine? He hit 59 home runs in Miami. How many home runs could he hit with Fenway alone?
He would basically become Satan with a better haircut to me.
And consider this, he'd be playing the American League East, which means he would have been playing in Yankee Stadium, would have been playing in Tropicana Field. The dude it might have tied Bonds' home run record if he were playing in the AL East.
Don't forget Camden Yards, which is the hitter's ballpark in the American League.
Exactly.
Quiet, Morganson. You're giving them ideas.
He's not going to Boston. It's already been reported he doesn't want to go to Boston.
What doesn't want to is irrelevant here. He can't have nice things anymore.
Well, he doesn't. Well, he has the no trade clause, so
I don't know. It's good. I think that he's probably going to end up staying in Miami because no one is. First of all, he's got to approve the trade. I think he's a Scott Boras client, so you have an issue there also.
God.
So now you got to find someone who's willing to take the money and accept the trade. It's probably going to cost the team 3 to 4 prospects at least.
3 to 4 top-level prospects.
Yes, right. And let's just put it this way. The odds of a trade probably are less than 5%. I'll put it.
We'll have to see.
We will see.
You're listening to the Unspoken Podcast, part of the Undetermined Podcast Network. Guys, let's briefly go through the shitstorm that was Week 10 of the NFL. So, I actually think that Thursday Night Football last week was Not that actually that bad of a game. Seattle and Arizona. That actually, I mean, but that's like saying, hey, the shit I took yesterday was better than the shit I took 2 days ago.
What is it with you two? First, wait a minute. Hold up.
Recognize.
Hold up.
What?
First, you're talking about taking shits, and he's talking about masturbating orangutans. What the hell is going on?
We just have the minds and emotional maturity of 7-year-olds. You should know this.
Well,
you gave us this job, Morganson. You gave us this power to wield.
I like it. I like uncensored shit. But wow, the way we've already been off the rails already today.
I mean, I would try to
find
find
what you did.
I would try to find another comparison, but let's face it, Thursday Night Football has been shit. But football has been shit, and if it looks like shit, it feels like shit. It is shit.
Well, the NFL's been bad.
I think it's shit, Sherlock.
And the one thing we're not talking about is the shitty games they've been putting on TV, so the ratings have been dropping.
Let's see.
And especially with Thanksgiving being 6 days away, and God, I love Thanksgiving football, but and I honestly, unabashedly, unironically do.
And
I always have.
And it's a big day. I mean, it's going to be a big, what's it called? A big day for us, Nick, on Thanksgiving, because you got, the Vikings playing Detroit at 12:30, and then you have the Giants playing on a Thursday night against Washington. And then, of course, you have a crappy matchup between the Chargers and the Cowboys in between.
That's awful.
That is an awful,
they don't want you to have
awful Thanksgiving games I've seen. The Chargers and the Cowboys. What the fuck are they thinking?
Hey.
They probably will count that you'll be too busy eating to actually watch TV.
Probably. It is the 4:30 game.
Actually, you know what? You know what's awful? I have to work 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. Thanksgiving.
Oh.
So, I'll watch some
At least
football.
You won't have to be out shopping.
That's true.
Thank God. But, yeah, I mean, I'll probably watch a bunch of football at work. But, I don't know. I might get bored by the matchups.
I mean, let's look at some of these matchups from last week. New Orleans blew out Buffalo 47-10. Goodness gracious, Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara. What a running unit.
All right, can we say that the Saints are a possible Super Bowl contender?
I think so, with that running unit, yes.
They're not Super Bowl contender yet.
Kamara and Ingram both. You have two amazing running backs, probably in the top 5 right now.
Kamara's definitely...
Kamara's the future.
He's a rookie, isn't he?
Yes, he got drafted this past season. This is his first season.
And this is like a resurgence for Ingram.
Right. It's funny. You remember early in the season we were talking about the problems with Ingram, Peterson, and Kamara? All it needed was for Peterson to be traded, and now suddenly all three of them are like... Peterson, I mean, it's not so much a resurgence, but he's having better days. And Ingram and Kamara, they're on fire. It's like, wow, that's all it took?
Well, I hate to say this. I hate to say this, but I guess you're removing the angry child in that situation.
Oh, God. Well, you're removing realistically, you're removing the one who, let's face it, is probably only playing 1 or 2 more seasons before he retires off out of the league.
To start a child care center, probably.
No.
What is wrong with us today?
I'm just angry. The NFL has made me so goddamn bitter that I just can't.
Well, and that's why the ratings have taken such a... Wait a minute. That's why the ratings have taken such a huge hit, because the pre-games have been bad. Countdown is taking a hit. NFL's pre-games taking a hit. Because no one gives a shit. The football matches have been awful.
And, I mean, sometimes I will say it's not the NFL's fault. Sometimes it is the injuries that occur. I mean, there's just been so many injuries this season. But this is why I say they need, they need an ability to expand more flex, basically, to flex games. They need to increase some sort of ability to that. And part of it means, I'm sorry, getting rid of either Thursday or Monday Night Football. You can't have you can't have both, one or the other.
Well, go ask Richard Sherman. He wanted Thursday Night Football gone after he tore his Achilles.
After he tore his Achilles, basically everybody came out and said Thursday Night Football was crap. And it's like, yeah, Seattle and Arizona was actually a decent game, but...
No, but Thursday night... Wait a minute. Thursday Night Football's a money grab, okay? There's no reason for it. They need to get rid of it. And you know what? I'm sick and tired of, like, when they list who's going to be doing the game, whether it's the NFL Network with NBC or the NFL Network with CBS. Just say it's the fucking NFL Network. No one needs to know it's in partnership with whoever it is. We know that it's going to be Collinsworth and Mike Tirico calling the goddamn game, or Jim Nantz and Tony Romo calling the game. No one gives a fuck.
Let's take a look at some of these other games. Green Bay. Guys, Brett Hundley's won a game. They beat the Chicago Bears 23-16. Only problem, as I mentioned in my stardom sim this week, that don't impress me much.
Nope.
Trubisky, I mean, when it comes to, from two perspectives. One, you're playing a team that has Mitch Trubisky as a quarterback, so why the hell?
Whatever the hell that is.
Exactly.
I gotta give him some credit. He had 297 passing yards, but it's against a team that's really dead in the water at this point.
Right, and the Chicago defense. Against the Chicago defense, yeah, that's fine. But for stuff like in terms of, oh my God, blowing me away or fantasy, should I start him in fantasy? No, it's neither of those cases. That's impressive. Let's see. Cleveland lost again. No surprise. How did Pittsburgh only beat Indianapolis 20-17?
I don't have an answer.
I don't know. Lawn gnomes?
I think Ben Roethlisberger is just a step slow, and ever since that 5-interception game, he didn't look the same. If we're going to talk about what happened last night, then maybe not. But I don't know.
I don't know either. Jacksonville defeated the LA Chargers 20-17 in overtime. Josh Lambo getting revenge on his older team that cut him. And to quote one of my favorite YouTubers in Urinating Tree, "Fuck you, Spanos."
Oh my God.
Let's see. The Tampa Bay beat the Jets 15-10. What a crappy game that was. Rams dominating.
The Jets sure won that game.
Rams dominating Houston. New England dominating Denver on Sunday night. Ew. Sunday night and Monday night this week, I think we mentioned last week, were ew. Atlanta beating Dallas 27-7. Jesus Christ.
Well, that's what
you know what they say about broken clocks and blind squirrels.
What?
They always seem to never be late for things.
Well, I was going to say this is probably revenge against Jerry Jones, but I'll hold off on that point until we're done.
And I told you so. I fucking told you so. I told you we were going to lose to the fucking 49ers.
I said it. No, you didn't say it. I said it.
We said it on the show last week.
No, you guys both said that they were going to win. I did
not.
Oh, yeah.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't. You know what? Pause. Let's go to the footage. Let's go to the soundbite. I said the 49ers were going to win.
Wait a minute. Nick, didn't he say it?
God, I can't remember. Don't put me on the spot like that.
We're going to the footage.
I can't remember what I had for breakfast this morning.
49ers. And Nick, I am prepared to eat a lot of croquettes, but I'm going with the 49ers. Did you hear?
I thought we talked about that.
I said the 49ers. That's proof.
He's right. He's right.
I guess. I thought I remembered you saying something about the Giants.
No, I said for weeks, watch, they're going to lose to the 49ers. And I said, if that were to happen, basically what's his name, McAdoo, wouldn't be around before that Black Monday. But ownership has come out with a statement saying we're going to wait till the end of the year and then we're going to reflect on everything.
You know what? I'm sick of this shit that they're saying let's wait till the end of the season. Now, people are arguing, well, who are you going to put in as an interim coach? You're not going to put Spags in there because they're basically quitting on McAdoo and Spagnuolo. So who are you going to put in as an interim coach? So I guess you have to keep him there until the end of the season because you have no one else better at this point.
I guess, but then Black Monday, he's got to go. He has to. If they keep him around next season, the Giants are done. They don't have a shot.
No, he's gone.
I just can't do it because this season, this team, everything is just giving me agita. It is. Why do you think I have to take blood pressure pills? Because this team is making me do it. I don't even have anything snarky to say. I don't have anything snarky, funny, witty, or insightful, or even helpful to say. It's stripped all breath from me. It's like I've been hit in the nuts with a sledgehammer, and I can't find the guy who did it because it was in a dark room. But I know who that guy is, and it's Jerry Reese. He is the one who swung the nut-hitting sledgehammer.
I guess you could say he's one giant pain in the ass.
Anyways, so now also apparently Jameis Winston has been accused of sexual assault or sexual misconduct?
Sexual assault, allegedly.
Allegedly, he's been accused of sexual. Wait, which one?
It's accused allegedly of an alleged assault.
Okay.
And apparently, I have the story here, according to TMZ, that he was in an Uber, because we all know how Ubers are impressive to get you around places. And basically, the driver came out and said that, well, here's the quote. The story falsely accuses me of making inappropriate contact with this driver. Winston says, I believe the driver was confused as to the number of passengers in the car and who was sitting next to her. But the report is that she said that he touched my crotch.
Remember at the beginning of the show when I said, I want a meteor to come down, burn the earth, kill us all? Well, it's basically for the number of... Part of it is because of the number of sexual assault, allegations that have been coming out in recent times.
This is where you cue the music.
What music?
The apocalypse music.
Oh, God.
Oh, now I know. It took me a minute. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I guess you can really say it. For once, the end is nigh. The end is nigh.
Well, here's the problem, and I know I'm going off into another realm for a second. We're hearing all this bullshit about sexual assaults in the Hollywood world with Harvey Weinstein, with now Al Franken, and now we're hearing it with athletes and all this crap. Can we cut this crap out? If you did it, just admit to it. If you didn't, then come out and prove that you're innocent. Because I'm getting sick of hearing this shit.
How do you prove you're innocent? Just a stupid question. How do you prove you're innocent with cases like this from years ago?
I don't know, but I'm sick of hearing about all these assaults.
Because men are pigs. We are.
But not all men are pigs.
But we see a lot of powerful men. Just look, it's good to have a penis. It really is. But don't go shoving it down people's throats that don't ask. Seriously, not every woman wants to eat it.
Nick, what is wrong with this show?
Stop being a pig and thinking you can get away with it.
What the fuck? What is wrong with the show today? Toilet humor.
And I'm inclined to believe the victims. I'm inclined to believe every single one of them.
Nick,
every single one of them that has said something has actually been proven right.
But wait a second, Nick. I think you're being a little unfair from the standpoint of there can be some false accusation out there for fame purposes also.
Yes, but they've all been right so far.
But I think what Nick's trying to say is, Nick, for that, you need to let due process. You need due process. This is something in our country, innocent until proven guilty in the court of law.
Right. Now, I'm not saying that they did it or didn't do it. I'm sure a lot of them did it. But you can't prove it until it's actually been proven.
Yeah, but the exact same kind of victim blaming and victim shaming that we've seen in the wake of all this, which I've seen way too much of, and it's just horrible to see.
It is.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but at the same,
and that's not right.
But then, do we just reverse the system here and just go, okay, you're guilty until proven innocent?
No, I wouldn't do that.
No. But if the evidence is pretty concrete and pretty on the nose, then I guess we have to take we have to take what we see as fact. If it's pretty incontrovertible, if it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, well, actually, if it looks like a dick and he acts like a dick, he's a dick.
But now, Nick, I'm just saying, but in the court of law in the United States, when it comes to evidence like that, then yes, then it's innocent until proven guilty. Then that would be a guilty verdict.
Where there's criminal proceedings, that would be the case, but this is only being tried in the court of public opinion.
Well, right. Obviously, it's being tried in the court of public opinion, but at the same time, how many false accusations have we seen go through courts of laws, hundreds of courts, and then they have to say, "Oh, wait, that was false. They were trying to get fame or something."
But it doesn't mean you go. But it doesn't mean you wholesale go and blame the accuser. I mean,
oh no, that's not my point.
It's difficult for women to come forward with this stuff.
No.
I know it's happened with my own mother and my cousin.
No. I'm agreeing with you, but I'm saying at the same time, you can't just because someone brings an accusation out doesn't mean it's true 100%.
I think what we're saying is that there are two different courts here. We're dealing with two different courts. There's the court of law and the court of public opinion.
Now, here's the problem. Here's one issue, which is that Jameis Winston has been in trouble with the law before.
Oh, no doubt.
Now, it's two completely different things. One was stealing, and this is assault. But once you have committed some criminal contempt, that's kind of following you on your record.
It is. And we will get to stealing. Let's not talk about stealing. We will get to that. There's a fire burning inside me right now with all this controversial talk.
Oh, wow. That was actually a good transition, but we'll get to that in a second.
Should we get right into that?
No, let's finish this up first. But I think to sum it up, like I just said, there's two different courts here. We got the court of law and we got the court of public opinion. And I don't know, guys. What do you think?
I think for this case, this has got to be the court of public opinion because we don't know everything. First of all, it's alleged. Finally, TMZ used the word alleged because a lot of times in the...
Wait, TMZ used the word alleged? TMZ actually is saying, we do or do not know. They're actually journalists? Oh, my God.
Well, they used they used the word alleged in an article, which I was surprised because in the past...
TMZ performing actual journalism.
Well, I got to give them credit over the past couple of years because they have actually done much better journalistic reporting than they have in the past where they just throw shit up on a wall and see if it sticks.
Well, last week, Nick, you said it best about last week. The video.
Oh, yeah. Wait, what did I say?
You said you were I forget. I used a term for it, but it was just they put up Roy Halladay's the moments before he died. They saw the plane was going down or whatever, and they're like, "Why?"
Yes, I know what you're talking about. Where TMZ shot the video from a distance over the water, and they really shouldn't have been doing that. But that's a whole issue for another day.
I used the term. I forget what I used, but it was click. It was views through blood or clicks through blood or something like that.
Yeah.
You're talking about clickbait?
Not clickbait, but it's oh, look, here's the moments Roy Halladay before he crashed. Oh, we're going to get a ton of views. It's not blood money.
That's clickbait when you take a video and you want someone to look at it.
I thought clickbait was when it's false.
Not necessarily. Clickbait can be true or false. Clickbait is based on the heading of a story.
Yeah, it is, but
all right.
But still, we're getting off track here.
Yeah. Right. All right, but okay, you know what? Fuck it. Here we go. It's time for my soapbox. I need to stand up here. So, Mr. LiAngelo Ball.
What are you waiting for? Stand up.
Okay, there. Mr. LiAngelo Ball.
Sit back down. I'm kidding. Musical chairs here on the Unspoken Podcast.
Can I say my fucking LiAngelo Ball? What the fuck did you just do?
Oh my God, it's an ongoing saga with you and the Ball family, isn't it?
It is. It's another rendition of me versus the Ball family. Oh my god. Okay, so let's get the story here. So,
context is necessary.
LiAngelo Ball and the UCLA team, the men's basketball team, went over to China to participate in a game. I guess they were going to hold a basketball game in China because, we're expanding basketball over and we're going to play games, the NCAA and the NBA, in China. And for whatever reason, I don't know why, LiAngelo Ball and two of his teammates stole, I think it was something like sunglasses.
They were shoplifting sunglasses, yes.
From several different stores, I think.
And basically, they were caught. They were basically placed under some form of house arrest where they were to stay in their hotel. And they faced a sentence of 3 to 10 years in prison because laws in China are much more strict, especially even the most simple, what's the term here? The lesser of the laws.
It's not just less strict. I mean, you're saying less strict than more strict than here.
Like less,
right. It's the strictest laws in some outside of in the world.
Basically,
so you decide to go to a foreign country and apply the old 5-finger discount.
Pretty much, and even for a crime like shoplifting, you can get a serious punishment. And for whatever reason, they decided to shoplift anyway. I don't understand why. So basically, they needed a good old President Trump for whatever to basically. Who wasn't Trump over in Asia at the time?
He was. He was actually in. He was in China at the time, I think.
So basically,
talking to President Xi.
Yeah, he needed the president basically to try to.
You know what makes this worse though?
Get him out. Can I finish?
No, but I have to add one point.
No. Let him finish. Let him finish.
All right, go ahead.
Basically, they needed Trump to get LiAngelo and his crew back home. And when the story first broke out, here comes Lonzo Ball basically said nothing and was like, I'm not focused on that. I'm focused on the game because he had a game coming up in a couple of hours. So fair point to that. And then LeVar Ball, they caught him walking through somewhere, and he's like, "Oh, it's not a big deal. Not a big deal. Your son stole from a communist country in China with the most strict laws possible. Not a fucking big deal. He faced 3 to 10 years in prison. Not a fucking big deal. What do you think? You're fucking bigger than the law?"
Well, LeVar Ball thinks he's bigger than the law.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, this is a guy who said after the first games of the season when him the Lakers were 0-1 and the Warriors were 0-1 said, "Oh, we're just as good as the Warriors." Go fucking figure. I think LeVar Ball lives in his own fucking fantasy world.
You know what? Instead of keeping up with the Kardashians, it's going to be keeping up with the Balls.
It is. The Ball family is the freaking the sports world version, the NBA version at least, of the fucking Kardashians. And it makes me fucking sick. Honestly, I can't stand any more of this fucking Ball family and their fucking shit. I'll be honest. We were talking about this before about, he's lucky Trump got him out. I fucking would have left his ass in China. Fuck him.
I agree with you. And I think I was the first one to bring that up as we were having our pre-show meeting, basically, that I would have left his ass in China and made him serve the 3 to 10 years in jail. But I think we need an opposite.
Touched off an international incident, and then you don't want Trump and his temperamental tweeting, although I'm not going to get into...
we don't need
I think this has nothing to do... I'm sorry, nothing to do with fucking whoever the president is. Because here's the thing. I'm just going to be honest. Let's be flat out real with ourselves. If he wasn't an athlete, if he was just a normal student, he would have been left in jail. And it's just fucking...
labor camp for him, I'm telling you.
No, I agree with you 100%. You're right. Athletes get far better treatment. But if I could play devil's advocate for a second, which is, look, I feel like the kid and that family, those kids have a lot of pressure on themselves because their father is an asshole and can't control himself, and he thinks that he can run the world. Would you say that there's not a lot of parenting responsibility involved with the kids, so maybe they don't really understand 100%?
I wouldn't want to assume because I don't know.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem. You were taught at a very young age, don't steal. If you're in a religious family, it's in the freaking commandment, thou shalt not steal. if you are not a religious family, maybe you're in a police officer family like myself, stealing is against the law. Even in the most simple family where you're not involved in either one of those things, stealing isn't nice. Stealing isn't right.
No, I get that. But from the standpoint of, you don't know how, like, his father was involved from the basketball standpoint, for even when he was a young kid. But do you think that maybe they weren't as involved from the standpoint of raising the kids, maybe?
If that's the case, I don't know either. But guess what? Honestly, I'm just going to flat out say if that was the case, who's the third Ball member? It's Lonzo, it's LaMelo, right?
Yeah, Melo.
And I get child services there and get LaMelo out of that fucking family. Because fuck LeVar Ball, he's a fucking piece of shit of a father.
No, I'm with you. I agree that he's I agree he's an awful human being. If you watched him on The Herd, Colin Cowherd, you saw the ridiculous interview he gave.
I said it before. He's worse than a fucking boxing hype man.
I mean, I get where you're coming from, and trust me, I hate him as much as you do.
He wasn't exactly condoning that his son steal shit.
Your son is facing 10 years in prison. You are not above the fucking law. I don't care who the fuck you are.
Yeah, but hold up.
Tom, calm down.
Hold on. So it wouldn't. First of all, you're acting like he would have been the only athlete or famous person that would have gotten out of that. Every famous person or every athlete would have found his way out of there.
I know, and it fucking sickens me. I've had friends who went overseas to study abroad. I've had a friend who was over in Italy when the freaking earthquake happened. Here's the thing. You are told before you go overseas, respect their laws. You are told constantly, respect their laws. You are told, you're not in the United States, so the laws of the United States can't apply here, or not necessarily they apply here. Maybe there are some laws that are shared. But basically, you go and you be respectful and everything. So I don't understand why LiAngelo and the two athletes stole. Because remember, this wasn't just LiAngelo. We have to remember, this was multiple athletes on a team.
Right. And I think we need to look at the other issue that now is coming up, which is, do we suspend them for half a season? Do we suspend them for a full season? And there's another issue, which is the chancellor and his wife were on the trip when the guys were shoplifting.
And that's an even dumber thing. Even dumber. You stole when the chancellor was there. How the fuck? I don't stand. This is the problem. I know everyone's like, oh, but he had a sincere apology. Number one, it could have been written by a PR person, but number two,
it was written. When they walked up. Wait a minute.
If I was staring 10 years in a labor camp in a foreign country, God knows I would mean it. I'd mean it with all my heart if I apologize.
But wait a second. Tom, it was written because when they went to have the press conference, the three of them walked up with white pieces of paper in their hand. So, yes, they were written by their PR.
Number two, we don't have an answer to the one journalistic question that, in journalism, we want the answer to. Sometimes we never get it. 3 letters, 1 W word. Why? Why? Answer. That's what I want to know. Why?
Because when you're in college, you do stupid things, and sometimes when you're an athlete as a college student, you're a privileged son of a bitch who gets everything they want.
Especially when your father's name is LeVar Ball.
Yeah, but at the same time, this was probably going on before LeVar Ball became a big name. So you don't know. I don't know how to explain this. I mean, LeVar Ball is LeVar Ball. He's going to do what he wants. He's going to sell big baller brand sneakers for $500, which no one's going to buy because they're too expensive.
I would say anybody who buys that fucking shit is a freaking fool. I mean, what is so good about that sneaker? Honestly, let me know.
It's like a Jordan brand sneaker. It's like a LeBron brand sneaker. They're all the same. Now, are you going to pay more for a LeVar Ball, a Ball brand sneaker, or are you going to pay the rent on your house?
Exactly. I was going to say, where's the Macklemore song, Thrift Shop? Where it's like, oh, you don't need to spend freaking $500 more just because it says something like Gucci on it. You don't.
Or you could play the Fergie song, whatever. What was that, Bitch, Give Me My Money? Or Rihanna song, whatever it was. I don't know. But in the long run.
Wow, that's one thing I don't need to ever hear you do again. Quote Rihanna.
I don't know. That's what you get being a top 40.
There are certain things that people are too white to do.
Yeah, that's what you get being a top 40 DJ in college for 4 years. But that we're getting off the point.
But these three players need to be suspended without a shadow of a doubt. I don't know how long, if it's half a season or a full season. I more want to say a full season because, just because of, let's see, would you rather face a full season suspension but get to come back and stay in school, or would you rather face 3 to 10 years in a freaking labor camp?
Well, here's the problem. The problem is, I think if they get a full season, they can just transfer out and go somewhere else and play.
Fucking NCAA rules. Honest to fuck.
Well, I don't think they can play in Division I. I think they'd have to go somewhere else if they want to play again. But I feel like somehow LaMelo is going to get off with like a half-season suspension just because it's the Ball family.
Probably. I would rather than it be right in the middle and be a 3-quarter suspension. No ability to redshirt. You can't just cancel that thing. So that hurts his stock in the NBA draft.
I mean, I don't know if it really hurts his stock. I think it's more of like, how many guys have we seen commit crimes or they were in a money-making scandal in college? So it's one incident, and once you get to the NBA, people have short-term memories.
Well, I would rather see somebody play a full season of college basketball so I know, what the hell I'm getting into, rather than just 1 quarter of a season.
Yeah, but they're trying to change the eligibility rules. I don't know if you saw it yesterday.
What are they trying to do?
They're talking.
Well, they already are suspended, just indefinitely. They just haven't said.
Yeah, but we know
my money's probably good. My money's good on probably half the season. They'll be out.
That's what I thought. I think it's going to be half a season, and maybe they could extend it because UCLA is looking into the investigation right now.
But sometimes internal investigations aren't enough. Hello, Louisville.
Well, that's a whole different issue. that involved the head coach and a fucking liar, and Adidas giving $100,000 to an athlete to entice him to come to the team.
This is what
it's college sports. We're all about coulda, not shoulda. Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Actually, I want to say this because coming up, I think on Wednesday or early Thanksgiving morning, I'm going to be uploading a special little thing me, Nick and I did for one of our classes. Basically, we made an unspoken podcast or an unspoken roundtable with a couple of our classmates. And one of the things we talked about was paying college athletes, because it's like you see a lot of the controversy of how much athletes are used, but then sometimes you see this shit. Basically, we came up with the conclusion that maybe college athletes should get paid, but no more of this just go away to the NBA. We think personally, you need to graduate. You need an education. You need a diploma in your hand. You just cannot go do something like go overseas and do something like this shit. And then, when you come, here's the thing. He should be suspended, but he should stay in school. And honestly, he should stay to fucking graduate just in case this fucking shit doesn't work out. I mean, I'm worried because LeVar Ball, and this is going off on another topic, but just to freaking say, LeVar Ball is pressuring his sons to do so well. But I mean, look at Lonzo right now. He's struggling to make shots.
Well, he's struggling to shoot 30.3%, to be honest.
Yeah, it's the lowest the lowest percentage anybody has had in 15 games, their first 15 games. And it's like, yeah, Westbrook had something similar, but
he's going to get benched.
I was going to say, but is Lonzo Ball going to be next Russell Westbrook? I don't fucking know.
He's not. Russell Westbrook has way more ability than Lonzo's ever going to have.
I mean, at this point, both public image-wise and basketball-wise, maybe we're just starting to see that the Ball family, as I thought it could possibly, are a bunch of failures.
I mean, let's compare things for a second. So let's look at LeBron when he came out of high school and Lonzo now. With all the hype that they had, LeBron right out of high school, all the dunks, all the major publicity, signing all the endorsement contracts, having to perform up to major expectations. Now, he didn't have the wild father, didn't have the wild family incident.
Yeah, the wild father who would, let's say, would pull his team from a game that they were winning just because of a bad referee call.
Now, has LeBron had his bad moments, like walking off the court against the Spurs in the finals?
Yes.
And the dunk, Miami, when he was with Miami, he dunked over, forgot who it was, but he just stared at the guy when he was on the ground. And just, he's had his moments.
He's had his moments, but at the very least, LeBron is a proven athlete. He is a guaranteed Hall of Famer. Who the fuck are the Ball family?
Honestly, well, nobody right now.
Exactly.
Right now, they're a bunch of zeros because they haven't proven anything yet.
Exactly. They haven't proven anything yet. They only got out of China. LiAngelo and his teammates only got out of China because they're athletes. Honestly, I don't believe in the Ball family. Honestly, at this point, I'm making my bold prediction. Lonzo Ball and the rest of the Ball family are going to be the biggest flops in NBA history.
I mean, I think it's a little too early for that, but I do think they're not going to have as much success as people think they're
not. No. Fuck LeVar Ball. Fuck that family. I'm done.
Next reality show, folks.
And people are going to watch it.
Well, I think they already have a Facebook thing, don't they?
I think they've been rumors for a while, and they're getting it set up. And honestly,
a couple of friends of ours from class have been watching it.
Oh.
I'm sorry. I don't get what the entertainment is. I don't get it.
Why don't we just give him the late night show?
Oh God, don't say that. Don't give him any ideas.
Oh boy! All right, let's move on because I think Tom's head is about to boil and explode.
I think I might have seen you burst a blood vessel in your neck, man.
You're not Joe Girardi. Give it a break.
Too bad we record this separately. Otherwise, you could bounce quarters off his neck.
You're listening to the Unspoken Podcast, part of the Undetermined Podcast Network. To move on to a lighter subject, though it's still a related one, guys. It's time. It's November. It's Thanksgiving. Let's award some special awards. Not some good awards, but awards for some of the shittiest, some of the dumbest, some of the worst things to come out of sports in 2017. Let's hand out turkey of the years.
Yes, grab your knife and fork because we're going to talk turkeys.
We're going to stick a knife in you.
All right. So I asked you guys we'll figure out who gets the biggest Turkey of the Year award. But I asked you guys, come up with a couple of names as to possibly who should get a Turkey of the Year award. And have you guys come up with a few people who you would nominate?
I've got a few.
Okay.
Yes, I have.
Who wants to go first?
Go ahead, Nick.
I'll go first.
Okay, Nick Federa, you go first.
And this one is going to burn me, and it's not going to. This one is going to hurt. It's a self-inflicted burn.
Okay.
But I have to do it because it's just, if we're using Turkey as the measuring statistic of, boneheaded decisions leading to indigestion, agita, and overall, let's call it incompetency.
Yes.
So you're saying upset stomach.
Although it did work out in the end, I'm going to have to nominate Joe Girardi.
Ooh.
What? What?
Although I do like him.
What? I wait a minute. I got to know why.
Mostly because of the division series, because of the way he's stubbornly refused to take pitches out of the game when they clearly didn't have it. Specifically, Dellin Betances. And like I said, this is a bit of a self-inflicted burn because it did work out in the end. So I have to reticently give him a turkey, but it's not a big turkey. It's a 5-pound bird.
So who else? Are there one or two others who you think also deserve it?
Well, if we're going to go with birds of escalating size, I think
we'll get the medium turkey then.
Let's go with a medium turkey, shall we?
Okay.
And in that case, the medium turkey would definitely need to be Phil Jackson.
Yes, I can see that.
And that is some good turkey.
Bill, do we even need to say why, or can we just move to large?
We can move on.
All right. So who gets a large turkey?
Well, it's fairly obvious when you look at the evidence, because the evidence points to not only failure, not only incompetence, but show-stopping incompetence that could be on a Broadway show. It's that glitzy and glamorous. We're talking about the equivalent of basically a fireworks show in the middle of a sandstorm. That kind of show-offy incompetence.
Oh my God!
There was only one man. Who
the fuck is it?
Who encapsulates this? Let me make my point. There is only one man who encapsulates such stunning incompetence. So therefore, I will award the biggest turkey, the golden turkey, to Ben McAdoo.
Good old Benny McAdoo. I don't think
obviously
anything else.
Oh my God, is it deserved? He has gone from champ to chump in record time. It's so quick. It's made my head spin. My head is actually spinning right now. You can't tell because it's actually spinning so fast. It looks like it's actually standing still.
Beautiful. All right, Nick Morgeson. Anybody in the sports world, a small, a medium, and a large. Maybe some extras if you need to mention them.
Oh, God, so many. Well, I'm not going to look at small, medium, large. I just think of turkeys as a turkey.
Okay.
LeVar Ball is definitely a turkey of the year. Definitely.
Popular choice.
Because all the shit we've been put through with him on TV. And you know what? I'm going to throw ESPN in there with LeVar Ball. I'm saying that they're coincided.
The organization as a whole.
No. Just when they put him on. ESPN's responsible for making him a turkey.
So are you calling ESPN the gravy or the mashed potatoes? Or?
They're the gravy that made LeVar Ball the better turkey. So
they're the stuffing that goes up the ass of this turkey.
Yeah, basically. So the reason I say it is because he doesn't know when to shut his fucking mouth. Before we even got to the draft, well, LiAngelo Ball is not going to work out for any other teams. He's only going to work out for the Lakers.
Well, speaking of which, when I was making my point about how it would hurt LiAngelo's stock, imagine now LiAngelo gets drafted somewhere else because of this incident. Oh my God! Explode.
But let's continue. So other turkeys. Now this one might stun you 100% because this guy is a star in the sports world.
Okay.
And you might not think it, but LeBron James is one of my turkeys of the year.
Really? Why?
Because
that is interesting.
First of all, because of the Arthur Instagram thing. I'm so sick of his shit. Stop being so, I don't know what the word is, when shallow, I guess. Just tell us your point. Don't put out a picture of an anteater or an antelope, whatever you want to call him. I don't give a fuck at this point. But
he's being overly circuitous.
Yes. Thank you. And basically, I can't stand his attitude lately this whole year. And then the whole Instagram thing with him being the king of New York, which is bullshit.
So this Turkification status that you're awarding LeBron James, is this stretching from the beginning of this season?
Yes, absolutely. Because
not last season.
No. This is we're talking about this year.
Well, so, anybody from the year. It doesn't matter at what point of time anybody can receive it.
So, well, I think it goes back. I think it goes back to
2017.
Oh no, it goes back to last season too. Because
that's what I meant.
Yeah, it does. Because
from when we first started the show to now.
Right. So the reason I have him as a turkey is because he can't control his fucking attitude, even on social media. I'm the best player. And I can do what I want, and I can...
It was your fault. Don't deny it. It was your fault. We have the super team problem now, and God bless Enos Kantner.
Oh, yeah. Well, that was great. But, yeah, those are two turkeys I have. Now, let's see. Do I have any others? No, those are two pretty big ones.
So you have LeVar Ball with a side of ESPN and LeBron James.
Yeah, those are pretty much my turkeys right there.
Okay. I've got a few turkeys in mind. For starters, and actually a lot of it is guys we have mentioned. So for starters, LeVar Ball and LiAngelo Ball. You know what? Let's just throw the Ball family in there. Let's just make it the Ball family.
I'm going with. Can we patent keeping up with the Balls? Because I think that we should.
Oh Lord, you're gonna kill me. You're
grabbing us by the balls.
So here's the thing: we're gonna give the Ball family a turkey, but each one is gonna have some of them are gonna have some special sides to it. So Lonzo's gonna have the corn because he can't fucking shoot. Because he can't.
I am not touching that one.
No, because he can't fucking shoot. LiAngelo, oh God, what do we do with LiAngelo? God, I guess the green beans, the string beans, because for some reason those aren't popular foods.
No, I'd give him the mashed potatoes because if he was in jail, he'd be getting mashed right now.
Oh my God!
Oh my God!
Thank you. I'm here all night, and that's a Nick Federa moment right there.
Oh my God! He's turning into me. Head for the hills.
And last but not least, LeVar. Well, he's gonna get stuffings because, let's face it, he stuffs all the shit.
Well, no, he's just stuffing people up the ass. So.
Oh. See, I wouldn't even go that far. Now you've crossed the line, Morganson.
Also, I will agree with Nick and Phil Jackson. Phil Jackson definitely deserves turkey this year.
He's a tofurkey because it's basically a hippie anyway, so he wouldn't be eating.
So, at number three, I give a turkey. Nick gave it to a whole organization. Well, a side of it to a whole organization. I'm going to give one of my turkeys to a whole organization. I'm going to give it to the NBA because God damn, what a non-competitive league.
Oh, I wouldn't say it's non-competitive. I think that it's just that we're seeing the NBA going through a power change. That's what I think we're seeing.
Well, here's the funny thing. They're not the only organization I'm giving a turkey to. In fact, they have, the lesser...
Uh-oh. He was making such a good point that he froze.
Well, I give it to the NFL, a bit slightly bigger turkey to the NFL, and more importantly, how did you guys miss this? Commissioner Goodell! He deserves a fucking turkey!
Oh my! Well, you know what? He's not just a turkey; he's a turducken. He's an idiot.
Thanks, John Madden.
He's an idiot, wrapped in a moron, wrapped in a weirdo, that is topped off with a fine glazed sheen of stooge.
Actually, wait a minute. I left out a turkey. Okay.
Oh, no. Okay, what is it?
Jerry Jones.
Yes, Jerry Jones also gets one. But my number one turkey...
It's not a good turkey either. It's dry as shit.
Probably. NFL Commissioner Goodell, though, are number two on my list because, well, NFL's problems are massive. Even if you got rid... Like we said last week, Nick, there, even if you got rid of the Papa John's and problem and the national anthem problem, it's still shit. Based on the injuries, the non-competitiveness of the matchups, all the divisiveness. But as it turns to me personally, it is only number two. Because yes, Nick, Ben McAdoo is number one on my list. Fucking Ben McAdoo for going from hero to zero.
Savior to Satan with slick back hair.
From hero to zero in no time. We are now seeing that he is just playing the role of an NFL head coach. And good God, does this Giants team cause so much misery.
Speaking of Thanksgiving, though, if you want to talk about Ben McAdoo being the turkey, you could say that his hair has enough grease to make the fat of the turkey.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah. Well, whatever he puts in his hair has to be like fine giblet gravy.
So
It is.
here's what
It has to be some kind of animal product. In fact, I think it might actually be rendered hog fat.
Oh my god! So guys, here's what we'll do: the Unspoken Podcast as a whole, it's Bronze Turkey of the Year. The bronze turkey goes to the Ball family. The silver turkey goes to Mr. Phil Jackson, and the golden turkey, the Turkey of the Year, undisputed, undetermined. It is Ben McAdoo. I think we can be in agreement on this.
It can either be the Ball family or McAdoo. We'll put it that way.
McAdoo hurts me. The Ball family doesn't hurt me like Ben McAdoo does.
Good point. So you know what? Do you want to switch Phil and the Ball family? Give Phil the bronze and the Ball family the silver?
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
Okay, well, I think that works. So third place, Mr. Phil Jackson. Second place, the Ball family. First place, good old Ben McAdoo. Knock a shit.
That's some good turkey.
All right, where are we going from here?
Okay, you're listening to the Unspoken Podcast, part of the Undetermined Podcast Network. Guys, get your games up.
I'm ready.
Ready to go.
All right. It is now time, ladies and gentlemen, for another edition of the Rapid Rundown. So,
To the music.
here we go. 1 o'clock games. First of all, we got the Detroit Lions and the Chicago Bears.
I am taking the I am taking the Lions by 7.
Okay, this is one of those heads or tails things. So, the Lions.
Yeah, Chicago stinks. I don't care if it's at home. It's the Lions.
We got Jacksonville and Cleveland. Talk about a shitty game. A tight, awesome Jacksonville defense against the Browns.
The brownsiest thing to ever been Browns. I'm taking the Jags.
The Jags.
I guess after this game, we might see Cleveland shitting out Browns based on Jacksonville defense. Yeah, Jacksonville.
Baltimore and Green Bay. Oh, great. We have an injury-prone team against another injury-prone team. Can we get ambulances all over the field?
Yeah. This game is sponsored by Johnson & Johnson and the Red Cross.
Another coin flip. Green Bay made 3. Green Bay.
Green Bay and a toss-up.
Arizona and Houston.
I am taking Houston.
I'm going to take Arizona. I think their offense can get past a Houston defense that's without J.J. Watt.
No Deshaun Watson either. So I'm going to take Arizona.
And guess what? No super free agent signee either. Houston gets stuck with Tom Savage.
Well, we all know that he's a savage, so.
Yeah, not in the good way.
When he's not pulling double duty as a jack-in-the-box.
The Rams and the Minnesota Vikings. Finally, we have a good game.
This is a good one. This is probably one of the better games of the week.
The Rams have defeated their opponents by an average of 25.8 points during their 4-game win streak. Both teams are 7-2. Guys, this is actually a really good game. It's a good Rams team and a good Vikings team led by Case Keenum. So, what do we think?
I am not going to break my father's heart on Thanksgiving. I am taking the Vikings.
I'm also going to take the Vikings, and I think it's going to be a close one, though. I'm going to go Vikings by 3.
It's Rams at the Vikings?
Yes.
Yeah, I will take by 3.
Well, this one's good because the Vikings have good D. The Rams have one of the better offenses.
Although Case Keenum's been doing a hell of a job with Adam Thielen and Kyle Rudolph and Stephon Diggs.
And Adam Thielen's the only receiver to have 5 catches in every game this season so far. So, yeah, I just pulled the stat out of my ass. But basically,
I wonder what the smell was.
You son of a bitch. But basically, this is tough because the Rams are decent, but I gotta go Vikings because Case Keenum somehow has been on fire.
Yes. All right, guys, we go from good to shit. It's Kansas City and New York Giants on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. The Chiefs.
It's gonna hurt.
Sorry, Nick.
Wait a minute, why is it going to hurt anymore? You know that they stink.
Come on, Nick. I want Saquon Barkley.
All right, yeah. I'm agreeing with you. Chiefs.
Washington and
I still feel something in that cold black void I call heart.
Washington and New Orleans. The Saints have won 7 games in a row, but have lost their last 2 to Washington.
Saints.
Yeah, I think the Saints, Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara are just going to run all over the field and topple all the Redskins. I'm going with the Saints.
It's time for that streak to end. I'm going with the Saints.
Whoop. Wait,
I'm confused.
Oh, the losing streak. The 2 games.
Oh. Okay.
Wow. Multiple streaks going on. Oh, speaking of very shitty streaks, it's Tampa Bay and Miami. The game that was supposed to happen in week 1, but was canceled due to a hurricane.
Battle of Florida.
Yes.
Hey, well, guess what? You have 2 shitty teams, but I guess you can go enjoy the atmosphere in Miami, go check out the chicks and get some beers. Otherwise,
you go for the alligators in this situation?
No. But as I was saying, that if you want to go pick up some chicks or get some beers, you're really not going to see a good football game. So I'm actually, believe it or not, going to take Miami because Jameis Winston can't throw the fucking ball to a fucking barn. So Miami.
Well, not just Jameis Winston's out because of injury.
Oh, is he out?
So Ryan Fitzpatrick is going to start for the Tampa Bay.
Oh, then it's definitely going to be Miami.
Yeah, I can't. What a shitty quarterback matchup. It's Fitzpatrick and Cutler.
Remind me to be eating when that happens, right?
Oh, God.
It's a 1 o'clock game.
Yeah. But I'm also going to go Miami. And Nick, did you say Miami too?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go with Miami. And for those of you who follow Chief Seat Sports, listen, I don't care what wide receiver you have for Miami. I don't care if it's fucking Kenny Stills or Devontae Parker or Landry. Start him. You're going to get points.
Yeah, you can't lose in that situation.
If you have all 3, start all fucking 3. 4 o'clock games. It's Buffalo and the Chargers. Oh, God. Another shitty matchup.
Well,
Buffalo.
Yeah, you got to take Buffalo because now they have Kelvin Benjamin. They actually have a wide receiver threat in that trade, which I still don't understand why the Panthers made, but that's a whole different story for another day. But Buffalo.
I'm taking Buffalo, even though I don't know who the fuck, when the fuck, why the fuck, or where the fuck Ryan Peterman is.
Cincinnati and Denver. Oh, God. What kind of 4 o'clock games did they put on? Cincinnati and Denver.
Well, both teams have been in the shitter. So...
3 and 6 teams, but they're playing in Denver. They're playing a mile high.
Denver.
Yeah, they got to go with Denver.
I am not taking Denver.
You're what?
I've picked them so many times, and Denver has not disappointed me because I wasn't expecting them to win, but they have subverted my expectations for the last time.
They're going Cincy.
Wow. I guess you're off to Cincinnati then.
It's the Patriots and the Raiders. The Pats have won 4 straight games against the Raiders. Let's turn that to 5, shall we?
This game's in Mexico City, by the way.
Yes, that's true.
Now, everyone before the season thought that this was going to be a battle of the divisional matchups and the conference matchups, but Oakland has been a major disappointment. New England's going to destroy Oakland.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of another outcome other than crush, kill, destroy, but I can't.
Sunday night game of the week, it's Philadelphia and Dallas. It's every Giants fan's nightmare. The Eagles have scored at least 20 points in 13 straight games, the longest active streak in the league. Guess what? No Zeke, no win. Philadelphia.
By the way, I thought of a term for you, Nick, to use for the Patriots-Raiders game. Okay? You could say that the Patriots are going to go raid Oakland.
And
Oh, you're so funny.
And the Monday night game of the week, the Seahawks and the Falcons. The Seahawks have won 5 of their last 6 games, and they are 3-1 at home this season. Oh God, they're in the home of the 12th man. So you know what?
Seattle.
Yeah, Atlanta's going to get rocked by Seattle.
Atlanta's been a major disappointment, believe it or not, this year.
Absolutely.
I am taking Seattle.
All right.
I got it.
What happened to this show today?
It's been majorly off the rails. I think we've used every ridiculous sarcasm there is, from masturbating orangutans to mashing people in jail.
First of all, you made that joke, not me. Don't go shooting the.
You told me with the masturbating orangutan.
That I'll take responsibility for, and I have a feeling I'm never going to live that one down.
No, you're not. That's probably going to be in the end of the year episode.
That's definitely going to be in the montage. But we do have, before we wrap things up, we do have a bit of an announcement to make here in Unspoken Land.
Yes.
So we do have the 50th episode coming up, and that we will take as our season finale, meaning that it doesn't mean we're going to be going on hiatus or anything, but the Unspoken is going to be going through a few changes. We're talking about Unspoken Season 2. Mm-hmm. We're talking about all new segments, all new logos, all new theme music, a complete overhaul from top to bottom. Basically with the same assholes with a shinier coat of paint.
Pretty much. Nick, I don't... Oh, okay. For a second, Nick Morganson put his hands over his face. I thought he was face palming for a second. I think he regrets this move, ever signing us.
No, because I'm the one who had the conversation with Nick, so I know what was going on for the new season. But yes. I have a little bit of an announcement of my own.
Okay.
That I did a radio show for 3 or 4 years in college, where I did the Top 40 Music Radio show. And I'm bringing it to podcast form in an uncensored point of view, where it's going to go way more off the rails than what we did today on the Unspoken Podcast.
So more locked rooms with masturbating orangutans or less?
Oh, damn it. I'm not going to show here, that's it. Fuck it.
I'm just saying, you have to incentivize for people. They show up expecting to see that. They want their money's worth.
Well, so here's the deal. There's going to be a rated R probably on that podcast. But All In with Nick Morganson is coming back with a podcast form to the Undetermined Podcast Network. And yes, no one is safe in the world of All In with Nick Morganson. Let's just say there were a few times when I was on college radio that I got into an argument with my PD over a few things that I've said on the radio before. Well, now it's coming to the podcast world.
Oh, boy.
Oh, God help us.
I'm just going to say this right now. The views expressed by Nick Morganson do not necessarily reflect those of the Unspoken Podcast or its staff.
Yes, we are not liable. In fact, don't even ask us any questions because no hablo inglés.
I think this is a good time to end, Tom.
Okay, that's going to do it for us. Go like us on Facebook, Twitter, and Periscope at the UDUP. Go like my other show. We're going to plug other shows. Go like my other show, Combat Mania, at Combat Mania UD. And there's going to be a new episode this weekend, probably sometime during this weekend.
And coming up after Thanksgiving weekend, we will finally, it's been a difficult pregnancy, but we will finally see if we can get pop culture off the ground. So go and like that on Twitter, at Pop Culture UD.
Woo! And go like at the UD Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Periscope, the official accounts of the Undetermined Podcast Network. And go like...
As I said before, keep your eye out for Season 2 of the Unspoken Podcast. More is unspoken. Context is necessary. We'll be back.
And go like and follow all the rest of the Undetermined Podcast Network accounts. And that's going to do it. For Nick Federa and Nick Morganson, I'm Tom Albana. We'll see you for episode 46 next week. Don't forget, a special about half-hour long edition of something called the Unspoken Roundtable will be coming up either the day before Thanksgiving or Thanksgiving morning, so look out for that. That's going to be fun. And that's it. We'll see you next week for episode 46. You've been listening to the Unspoken Podcast, a Chief Seat Sports production part of the Undetermined Podcast Network. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
It's like being in a locked room full of masturbating orangutans.